Morning all, Garry here, GESA Electrical, your smart spark from the northern suburbs of Adelaide. Welcome back to my Friday mornings live on Facebook. I would like to continue on in answering the questions which have been sent towards me. And one of them was, how many big appliances can I have on in my household? The first question, of course, is what's a big appliance? So the example given were tumble dryer, air conditioner, oven. Very simply speaking, let's talk about a normal situation in breakfast, okay? You have breakfast, you're gonna have, thanks Angus, I love my shirt too. You got me out, thanks mate. You have in your breakfast, so you got your toaster on, you boil the kettle because you want to have a cuppa, you open and close the fridge because you want something on your toast. Chances are you use the microwave because you might want to warm up some milk for the kiddies. So that's, simply speaking, your kettle takes 10 amps, your microwave takes 6, your toaster takes 6, your fridge 3 to 7 depending on how old whatever else is in there. So in a big scheme of things, if you have a normal breakfast in the morning, you potentially use 20 odd amps at any one time on the same one circuit. So what happens here is you slightly overload it literally every day. Now inside a circuit breaker is a couple of metals. And the biggest byproduct of power is heat. So as you use power, those metals bend. And eventually when you get too hot, they trip. Now, by the time, it's also like a few variants in there, as in it takes a while for this to trip. Okay? So you can overload, on average, don't quote me on this, but let's say you can overload a breaker by like 50% for up to 2 minutes. That's enough time for the kettle to boil. Afterwards, the load drops down and you're back to normal. But you constantly load that breaker, so eventually those contacts may get weak. So here's a normal everyday situation with breakfast where you can overload and you could come and strive. Let's look at the big picture, because the question was how many can you use in your house? Your air conditioner, for example, is always on its own dedicated circuit, at least it should be. Same with your oven, same with big appliances like hot water services, okay? They're all on their own dedicated circuits. Yet, induction cooktops, for example, are a fantastic invention. They can draw a lot of power. It's very condensed of where you're using them, but they draw a lot of power. So by the moment you've got an induction cooktop, you've got an electric wall oven, your hot water kicks in, and you got your aircon running, you might come into strife. When does that happen? You're cooking in summertime. Very good chance that your air conditioning is running full blast. You're cooking dinner for the family, and of course you're just doing up all the washing from the kids. Now you may run and strive. In an average house these days, you're going to get incoming 63 amps, and that's a heck of a lot. It's a heck of a lot. You can get 3-phase, which is quite common these days, and then now you have 3 times 63 amps. That's massive. So for every normal household, marvelous. There's a lot of existing places when your incoming cables are quite a lot smaller, and quite often you only have 40 available. And that's sometimes when we come to clients and say to them, look, where you are right now, perfectly fine. You just added a shed to it, you had your electric hot water, you've got your gas cooktop. But the moment you want to update something, let's say you get a kitchen upgrade, you put an electric oven in, you come into strife. If that's the case, it's our obligation to literally advise you and say, please look at that and maybe we should do something about it. It always pays to actually have a trusted electrician you can talk to give you the right advice. The intention is not to upsell or give you anything you don't need. The intention is literally to tell you, look guys, this is what you've got, this is where you can be, and you can now make an informed decision of what you would like to do. So yes, every situation is different. People might have gas hot water services. People might have gas cooking. People might have the big shed in the backyard, and people might actually have, I don't know, let's say they want to buy a hoist because they like working on cars. They get a 3-phase hoist, and all of a sudden what they've got there is not sufficient anymore. Maybe the case. So each situation is different. Reminds me, this week I had a client up in the hills, and their incoming mains cable was downgraded to 40 amps. 3-phase, 40 amps. Why? It was a very long distance to the incoming power supply where the ESA power network's pole sits. With that in mind, it then reduced at only a certain size cable, they had to reduce how much they can draw over it. They've got 2 internal switchboards and they feed each one of them with 50 amps. Well, hang on, you feed internally with 50, but you only got 40 coming in. Doesn't add up, doesn't it? So I had the obligation to say to the client here, please be aware, this is where you're sitting. The moment you do your kitchen and you go away from your gas bottled and you might go to electric cooktop, you're going to be in trouble. So please remember that. So yeah, at the end of the day, talk to your Sparky, make sure you got somebody trusted, make sure those people actually look after you, and for any more information, just watch one of your videos. If you have any suggestions about stuff I can talk about, I'd love to see your input, because I'll run out of ideas eventually. So in between, have a fantastic Friday. Thanks so much for joining me, and I shall see you all next week. Bye.